Hello, my name is Alan Wright, and I'm coming to you from Tucson, Arizona, a little home studio. You probably, if you're seeing this, won't give me much credibility. I'm just a guy in Tucson, Arizona, retired old white guy. You have no reason to believe what I'm saying or disbelieve it. But I hope that you can listen to the message itself and evaluate it, because the truth of what I'm going to tell you right now may save your life and those around you. It's urgent. It's also true. Very well researched, I assure you. I will send it around to a few people, but I know that people probably won't get it from my website. I do have a website because in my retirement I have 3 projects. I have a music project, I have a golf project, and I have a justice project, because I've devoted my entire life to the study of justice. Why? Well, I want to take just a moment to make it real clear. I am dedicating this video to my father. My father was a working man who died on the job when I was still a very young man. And he died on the job because he got very, very poor medical care, because he worked for a company, a corporation, that just simply didn't value its employees. Period. End of story. I'm not going to try to sell you on that today. It's just the truth. But this is dedicated to my father, Preston Wright, who was an honest, hard-working man who took care of his family. We never had much, but we always had what we needed. Thank you, Dad. What I'm going to tell you right now is going to be hard to swallow. And that's why I doubt that many of you will believe me. It's very difficult to go from a comfort zone of being an American in a world as troubled as the one we're in. But on this March 22nd, I think it's a Sunday, I think it's the 22nd, this is a non-scripted video. It comes from the heart, and I'm going to tell you straight. I have several degrees, and I worked all over the world in copper mines and every other thing you can think of. I didn't raise a family. I studied this world and justice, and worked hard and taught and coached. I fought in Vietnam. I care. So that's all I'm going to tell you about me right now. The important thing, I worked at all levels of government and out of government, corporations, you name it. Started a couple of my own. We're in trouble. And we're in trouble right now, basically because of one man and the decisions he's making. And I don't say this lightly. I don't say this as a Democrat or Republican. I am not political. Any problems, every problem I've had in my life comes from either drinking too much beer and chasing women, or it's been politics, politicians. I don't do well with politicians. They compromise their integrity, the truth, and everything else, and I generally don't. I have my failings, but now I want to give you the message. Hear it. Ignore it at your own peril. If you want more after this is said, you could go to www.alanwright.tv, and that's where I do my music, my golf, and my justice videos. But if you just listen to this video, here's the message. President Trump is not doing what he's doing right now with this coronavirus thing as a racist. The thing with Chinese virus, it's not racist. I know that's where we're mostly coming from in the country today, and for good reason. He is a racist, don't get me wrong. This is much, much more serious. I can't avoid giving you just a little bit of context, easily destroying any credibility I might have with you. Truth. I am a truther. Whatever you think you know about 9/11, that you've listened to from any one of the politicians, or any one of the pundits, or any one of those people that really are telling you what you want to believe and make you feel comfortable. You don't really know what happened with 9/11. It's important that you understand the United States weaponized the whole issue of 9/11 for the petroleum industry and the economy in that region of the world where petroleum is at issue the most, where Russia, Saudi Arabia, Iran, and others are battling it out around oil. You honestly have no understanding of how important petroleum is to the world. And it's hard, and you probably never will understand, that our government was willing to sacrifice 3,000 people to get the war on terror established. Now, that's for another time. But you need to understand one thing. Trump does understand. Trump does understand. When he says Chinese virus, he understands that China can be made to be, this virus in Wuhan is a weaponization of the virus to destroy the American economy, the world economy, which is China's major concern right now. Now, did China weaponize the virus to sacrifice a few thousand of its own people to destroy the American and the European, the world banks of the world? I don't know. But I'm telling you, those of you out there with more resources than I have, you better start looking into it. Is President Trump weaponizing the China virus to do another type of a war on terror, but that it's financial, economically focused? If you don't think he's capable, let me assure you, he is a clown. He isn't nearly as bright as he thinks he is, but you've got to understand one thing about Donald Trump. He is an excellent con artist, and he's looking much further down the road than you are. He's wanting you to beg him. He's wanting the states to beg him to take federal action right now by declaring emergency powers and using them in a dictatorial manner. Trump is using one hand to deflect down the road to where he postpones or cancels the election and assumes power. Total power. That's how it's happened around the world in history, which very few people know much about. You just kind of know some cliff notes, and that's all you want to know about history. You're practical people. You don't really know what you're talking about. You don't know who to believe. It's just the truth, folks. You know, whether you're a doctor, a lawyer, a plumber, or a housewife, any profession, you're a college professor, you know about your specialized area. That's how we were programmed and taught to be. It's worked in the Industrial Revolution. It worked. But it's not working now in these trouble-changing times. You're not a generalist. You don't understand context. You don't understand the bigger picture. That we weren't taught to understand the big picture. Trump does. Trump actually is playing it very well. Think of a David Copperfield or any other, whoever is your favorite magician. They're working one side of it. They know that the hand is quicker than the eye in some ways through illusion, and that he is setting up total power. Netanyahu is doing a similar thing. We know that Mr. Putin is a master. We know that people in other countries are masters. We know that China has made himself ruler for life. We know that it's happening around the world. Mr. Trump's doing the same thing in his own way, and the man is using the virus right now to promote that down the road. He is a wartime president. He has to be a wartime president. It is a war, but he's not the man you want at the head of it. If you don't remove President Trump, very soon, it's going to be too late if it isn't now. President Trump is weaponizing this virus situation. He's weaponizing it for his own purposes. It's true, folks. It's dangerous. And you need to get some leadership out there who knows what's going on, knows how to do it. And it is not Donald Trump. This isn't about race. It's not about sex. It's not about white supremacy. And he is a white supremacist. Make no doubt about that. However, this is much more serious. It literally threatens the future of the free world, if you want to use those words. I'm looking at my timer. I'm trying to take about 12 minutes on this. I don't want to get into the weeds on trying to explain all this to you. If you don't believe what I'm saying, you need to start doing some investigation and really parsing words and looking into what's going on. I promise you, you don't understand it today. But it's not just your local concerns about what the virus can do to you. You better pay attention to how Trump's getting ready to take over the economy of the world. And we may very well be going to war with China in a type of warfare you've never seen before. It's primarily socio-economic as opposed to with bullets, but it could easily become that. So worry. Yeah, worry. And you know, if it's painful for you or it's not pleasant, or in my own home, the woman I live with is very upset with me because I am so concerned about this. She doesn't want to hear about it. It's uncomfortable for her. And she's a wonderful, good woman. And I know that families all over this country and the world are facing similar issues and concerns. It's disruptive to our way of life. We better deal with it. And at the core of that is President Trump. He challenges all the working people in the world and everything that the working people of this world have tried to accomplish, not the politicians. I don't give a whit or a damn about the politicians. They're opportunists, compromisers. And they really believe, they try really hard to believe, they're trying to do it in the interest of you and I. It's seldom the truth, only when it's convenient for them. They all come out of the situation much wealthier than when they went in. The people they work for are manipulating them as well. The system needs correction. This is a time of major world correction, both socioeconomic, mentally, emotionally. Use your intelligence, folks. Try really hard. Most of you aren't very bright. We all grew up trying to think democratically, like everybody's equal, and everybody's not equal. You're only equal in one sense, and if you're trying to make it a religious thing, you're still not equal. The only one thing everybody needs to know is we're biological beings and we're going to die at some point. Let's try not to make it awful and soon. Let's try to do better in life right now with each other. And we got to get smart, folks. Trump's going to use you like a tool. He's going to manipulate you right down to the end. He is in control right now, and he intends to stay that way. He's going to postpone the election. He's going to use the full powers of his office to take charge in a way you've never seen before. Remove him from office, and I'm not talking violence. It won't work because he has 60 million supporters that thinks this whole thing is a hoax. Truthers like me, and there are many crazy truthers, I understand that. Again, don't make it about the person, the people, make it about the message. There's only one person right now that's at the helm, that's holding the wheel of this ship as it tries to navigate through these troubled waters, and that's President Trump. Pence is a miserable toady. So is our Attorney General and those others around him. There are very few, and they think around him that are trying to be intelligent and smart about this, and they're barely hanging on, and they're those compromisers. You're going to have to get tough about it, folks. And again, I'm not talking about violence because there's too many people that support him. You got to use your brains. This country was split like this once before, and it was during the Civil War. Maybe you thought that could never happen again. We're in trouble. We're in trouble. But it isn't necessarily the trouble you think. Come on now. Find your leaders, find people you can trust, get behind them, and let's change things. And one of those things that better change is Donald Trump needs to get out of office now. That's it. Alan Wright, adios, Tucson, Arizona. This is the best I can do. I'm going to send this out to a few people. Hopefully it gets out to enough people to help. I don't know if it will or not. But my wife and I keep saying, what can we do about it? What can we do about it? What can we do about it? We're just little people. Well, I'm back. And This is probably a poor slice and dice. I'm not going to take the time to do some fancy transition. My camera cut off, it heats. Like I said, I'm an amateur videographer. I'm not trying to be professional about this. This is something I just wanted to do. So my camera turns off due to heat. It's a DSL camera and it's a Sony, not designed for going on very long. I almost was finished, but I do want to say one more thing and be very specific about it. I don't even remember right at the end what I was telling you because I'm old and my memory's fading. I used to have a wonderful memory. I used to quote from books all the time when I was giving speeches around the country. I used to have some respect for what I know and what I was trying to do to help troubled youth. It was my primary target. But now I want to say about this president, I'm not trying to be mean to President Trump. I'm not directing this at him as a person. I'm directing it at him as president. He should not be our president. It was a mistake. He lied and he fooled. Yes, fooled about 60 million people who know we need change. They know that things need to change, but they were fooled. They picked the wrong man. And he just ran rampant over all the politicians out there. And that doesn't surprise me because I have no great faith in the Democrats. Don't get me wrong. But the president right now has immense power and he's misusing it. It's dangerous. He needs to be replaced. And I'm not quite sure how you want to go about this. And I don't suggest violence again. Frankly, I would like to be alone in the room with him. I'm sorry, that's just the truth. But that won't help because 60 million people or so still thinks this virus is a hoax and that he is the champion of the people, and you know, there's a lot of things that he has reason to believe he's the chosen one. And he's going to act like it. The 25th Amendment would apply if he didn't have toadies all around him, like the idiot that is a brilliant strategist, our wonderfully stupid Secretary of State, who's just like him, an opportunist. Yeah, I know that those of you that support these people think I'm an idiot too, and don't like even to use these words because they don't use those in church, and good church people don't do that. Well, this is wartime, folk. I've been there. Have you? President Trump probably wasn't going to be removed by the 25th Amendment. He probably is going to cancel the election, and you think, well, he doesn't have that kind of power. Yeah, he's getting to the point where he does. He'll say he's postponing it for the safety of the nation and to stay focused on the war. As a wartime president, it's in the best interest of the country. So you're not going to be able to unelect him. I'm not too sure what the solution is. That's why we need very, very smart, patriotic, in the sense of humanity, not just the majority in the country of people, not just a bunch of educated, I won't use the word, people, not a bunch of lawyers, but the kind of people that can think clearly about the best interest of the people they're supposed to be working for. Working people in the country, not the 1/10 of 1% who own everything through inheritance and cronyism, through the system they built that made them immensely wealthy, through the system that is cracking deeply around the world. We're in trouble. The best and the brightest somehow got to figure out how to do it. We need to give them the opportunity to do so and support them. This president needs to go. But he isn't. He's just the top. And I've used this term before and I'm going to use it and show you how crass I really am. He's just, and those around him are just a little bit of chicken shit right on the top of the pyramid up here, the golden pyramid where the social distribution's been skewed intentionally. It's not an accident that down on the bottom are the black and the colored people of the world, and the white are closer to the top, and the blue bloods and the gold is at the top. That's not an accident. You need to think about it. This is a crisis situation, and it's a crisis of huge proportions in the sense of time and in the sense of history and going forward into the future. Before the wave of panic hits, and it's coming soon. Right now you're starting to see a little hoarding, stuff like that. But there's a wave of panic coming, and if you've never really thought intelligently about a zombie apocalypse, you've never been in a mob, you've never been responsible for mob control, you've never been in a mob watching it as a watcher. I've seen it. Zombie apocalypse. When scared, frightened, unthoughtful, for lack of a better word. I can't think very well right now. I'm tired. I'm tired of this whole thing. I may even quit doing these videos. But I am going to send this out and see if some of you with some degree of maybe somebody will listen to you. They're not going to listen to me. You need to do something, folks. You can't sit and wait and expect this Trumpian government to do it for you. And the world's pretty angry at us right now. They don't trust the United States. They don't trust Donald Trump. They have a reason to be concerned. Well, that's all I need to do right now. I'm Alan Wright, a working guy, retired, coming to you from Tucson, Arizona. I bid you the best, hope the best for your families. Adios. Vaya con Dios, if that's the way you choose to believe. But figure it out. We got to do it. We can do it. Do it.